final race of the weekend for Trofeu GTS about to get underway. It's the Ultimate Cup Series' first visit to the Autodromo Internacional de Algarve in the south of Portugal. It is absolutely beautiful and perfect weather conditions. Couldn't be asking for better weather here. We have 17 cars ready to scrap in the GTS finale for the weekend. Some of these cars will be out for the GTE race a little bit later on. There's a 4-hour endurance race. We're qualifying for that a little bit earlier on. But it will be, for the second time this weekend, Francesco Azzori's SR&R Ferrari 488 GT3. That will start on pole position on the left-hand side there, with Alfredo Hernandez starting alongside him in the BDR competition Lamborghini Super Trofeo car. Now that car was leading race number 3 earlier on today and had to come into the pits with a technical problem. So hopefully all is well aboard that BDR competition car now, because that of course gave the overall win to his class rival Alexis Bertet. And also to watch out for is the Porsche Cup as well, because that really was the highlight of race 3, the fantastic on-track battle between Carl van der Westen and Jeremy Falligand. But it is Carl's brother Caesar taking over the number 14 2B Autosport car for this final race of the weekend. The grid set by the second fastest times set in Q2. If there are entries with 2 drivers, they split the driving duties between the 2 races. So driver 1 does races 1 and 3, and then driver 2 does races 2 and 4. It's a 25-minute race, and it will be a rolling start. So once this formation lap gets underway, they won't be stopping on the grid again. We will go straight into racing. The 15-second board is displayed. The grid is clear, and it will be Francesco Azzori for SR&R starting on pole position on the left-hand side. Alongside him is the 77 of Alfredo Hernandez that took an overall win yesterday. Just behind him on the grid, the number 30 CMR Lamborghini Super Trofeo of Alexis Bertet, the race 3 winner. And then the Porsche Cup pole position, which is Seb Lajou in the number 908 Seb Lajou racing car. He's been sharing that car with Stefan Perrin this weekend. And then we have the second, there will be a gap in 5th position where the second of our GT3 cars should be, which is the JRM Racing Corvette of Olivier Morahan. But he has decided to withdraw from today's races. So there's an unbroken top 3 in the Porsche Cup. Jeremy Falligand, a class winner in race 3 earlier on. Seb Lajou Racing actually undefeated in Porsche Cup so far this weekend, with them running 1 and 2 in category for the start of this race. There's Eric Debard in the number 81 Debard Automobiles by Racetivity Porsche Cup car. Then we have the first of our UCS3 cars, which is Lorenzo Monteiro in the 353 SR&R Ferrari 488 Challenge. He's been sharing that car with Lyle Schofield, who had a cracking drive from 10th to 2nd in this morning's race. He goes from 8th. Then we have Cesar van der Westen in the 2B Autosport number 14 car, and Lionel Rigau in the 89 GP Racing Team Porsche Cup car. Then we have the third of our UCS2 cars, which is Eric Muez in the GTX Ginetta, the development car that won the GTX category of the Dubai 24 Hours earlier this year. He's been sharing that car with the former Dams team principal Gregory Drio. Then we have our 2 GT4 cars, which is Pierre Arroux in the 64 Hero Racing Audi, and then Francois Denis in the 555 speed car at Ginetta. And Pierre Arroux made it 2-1 in the battle with Francois Denis in race 3 earlier. And then our UCS Light cars, which is the midget of Marine Pedu, run by Speedcar, the number 7, and then the previous generation Porsche Cayman GT4 car of Andre Sefiritos in the 57 drive-in car. And then also our UCS3 cars, Frederic Lacour, which hole on the grid there. So actually it looks like we're back down to 15 cars for the final race of the weekend, which is about to get underway. The 2x2 formation. Now the last time, in race 2, we had the Ferrari GT3 and the Lamborghini Super Trofeo of Hernandez starting alongside each other. The extra power in that Super Trofeo hurled the Mexican into the lead of the race early on before Azzori claimed it's back again a little bit later. So let's see if something similar happens in this one, and then we can see the unbroken Porsche battle in the top three, but the Corvette-sized hole on the right-hand side of the grid there, which must remain, otherwise you'll be considered out of position at the start. But we have 15 cars remaining for the final Trofeu GTS race, and our first ever visit to Portimão. We await the lights to get this race for 25 minutes underway. Azzurri on the left-hand side, Hernandez on the right, and the race is underway. And again, the power of that Lamborghini seems to be propelling it ahead of the GT3 runner. In fact, it is. And the Porsche Cup car of Seb Lejeune follows him through as well. Fantastic stuff, as does the CMR Lamborghini of Alexis Bertets, while pole sitter down to 4th position by the time they reach turn 1. Cup cars going side by side down into turn number 3 as well. That's Cesar van der Westen making an absolutely brilliant start and going side by side with Jeremy Falligand. Now Falligand dealt with Cesar's brother Carl all race long earlier this morning. Now he's got the brother to contend with in this one. So it is Alfredo Hernandez who leads, and that looked like Azzurri getting very sideways and a bit of a hip and shoulder there by the looks of it. And where has Hernandez gone? What has happened to Hernandez there? Did he spin out of turn 5 at the first time of asking? It's the only thing I can think of. I did think he got a little bit sideways, but by the looks of it, he's looped it round the Mexican. And after the technical problems he had this morning, that is an absolute disaster. So that means that Seb Lejeune, in the 908 Seb Lejeune Racing Porsche Cup car, is leading the field. Well, not anymore he isn't, because Alexis Bertet takes advantage of that mistake there at the exit of turn number 11. And now it is the CMR Lamborghini that leads the way. And Azzurri in now 2nd position as he takes the place away from the Porsche Cup car, which seems to have a massive hip and shoulder, and then loses the class lead to his teammate Jeremy Falligand. As well. Very dramatic first lap here in the final race of the Trofeu GTS in Portimão. Absolutely wonderful stuff to get this race underway. So, at the end of the first lap, it is the number 30 CMR Lamborghini Super Trofeo of Alexis Bertet, closely followed by 0.3 of a second to Francesco Azzurri. And then comes the Porsche Cup lead of Jeremy Falligand and Seb Lejeune and Cesar van der Westen. And then we saw a change of position there. That was Lorenzo Monteiro getting past Eric Debard into turn number 1. And Azzurri right on the back of our race leader now, with Alexis Bertet coming under big pressure, coming towards the hairpin at turn number 5. Azzurri, the Italian, looking to the inside, and with that title line, he does manage to take the lead away from the CMR Lamborghini. So Francesco Azzurri, it took him a lap and a bit to get back up to the front after what looked like a very, very difficult start indeed. But Azzurri, of course, the reigning Ultimate GT Cup Sprint champion in the GT3B category. They have been, the categories rejigged ever so slightly for this year, a bit more simple, but class champion from last year. He now leads Alexis Bertet and then Jeremy Falligand leading the Porsche Cup battle, which once again proves to be the absolute highlight of the race. And it is the most hotly contested category in this race, with 5 entries and 5 very good entries as well amongst the 6 categories that we run in this race. All variations of GT machinery. But then we have the Lorenzo Monteiro being closely followed by Frederic Lacour. Both of these cars are on the recovery. Now the Porsche Cup race leader under investigation for the start procedure. So potential issue there for Jeremy Falligand, but he'll worry about that later as Cesar van der Westen gets up the inside into turn number 1 on Seb Lejeune and makes his way up into 4th position as 2nd of the Porsche Cup runners. Lorenzo Monteiro trying to take advantage of that as well on the inside at turn number 3, and he does get past Seb Lejeune as well. And the next man in the queue to try and take advantage of that will be Frederic Lacour, who didn't finish race 3 yesterday. Oh, Monteiro in the white and red SR&R Ferrari now making a move. 2 Ferraris making a move on 2 Porsches down into turn 5. I like that back at Maranello, taking one over Stuttgart there. So that puts Monteiro into 4th position and Lacour into 6th, I think, by the looks of it. But probably not for much longer, I'd have thought. So Alfredo Hernandez is still going out there, by the way. He's crossed the last timing loop in 11th position and behind his class rival Eric Muez in the GTX Ginetta. So we see Frederic Lacour on the back here of Cesar van der Westen. And Cesar running a slightly wider line there, and that gives Lacour the run up onto the final corner. And 2 cars with timing penalties here. It is the 415, Jeremy Falligan, the Porsche Cup leader, and the 353 as well, the USC 3 class leader, Lorenzo Monteiro, for a start infringement. So 2 cars picking up penalties. That could play quite a significant part in that. They're both the leaders of their class, and not by enough of an advantage, I would think, that actually helps them retain the lead. Oh, big lock up there for Eric Debard in the 81, but just about managed to gather that car up and kept it on the asphalt. Very nicely done there by Eric Debard, who's also competing in Porsche Carrera Cup France this year. And has represented Team France in the FIA Motorsport Games in the GT Cup. In fact, won gold there in 2022 alongside Simon Gachet. A lot of notifications on my timing screen about track limits. That's been a hotly contested issue throughout the weekend, and in fact quite a few penalties being dished out in race 3 for track limits. Indeed, all the races. There's quite a few spots they're looking at. Turns 1, 3 and 4, or turns 1 and 4, and turn 5. And the final corner in particular as well. If you go wide at the final corner, then you get both that current lap and then the next lap deleted as well. And in qualifying, they have been throwing cars out of qualifying. Oh, that was a wide moment there for Francesco Azzori, our race leader. But no pressure around him. He's already 17 seconds clear of Alexis Bertet. And that car has been competing in all the races because his teammate Aramis, who was due to do races 1 and 3, had to fly home, wasn't feeling well, and so they just withdrew the car from those 2 races. Azzori's been continuing to fly the flag for the team solo in the other 2 races. Azzori last year, in addition to his Ultimate Cup experience, competing in Italian GT. Slightly further down, the GT4 category, it's Francois Denis who leads in USC 4, and so that would make it 2 apiece then if it were to stay that way between Francois Denis and Pierre Arroux. The 555 machine leading, and then this is Marine Pidou in the number 7 midjet car. And, Marine Pidou, the TikTok sensation. 60,000 followers she has there, and driving the midjet, which is a wonderful concept race, very popular in France. A concept for amateur and pro racers. It's called the Race for All. Something fun and easy to drive with competitive pricing as well. It's considered a great gateway for racers in France to get on the racing ladder. Usually come in the 2-litre engines, very light, very nimble as well. So that white Ferrari just going through the shot there, that is third position overall because he's passed Jeremy Fallaghan, has Lorenzo Monteiro, for third position overall. So demoted the Porsche Cup leader to fourth position. And then this is Alfredo Hernandez coming back through the field. He's just passed the GTX Ginetta, the number 12 car. And that is a very interesting car indeed. It's the next step in development for the G56, a step beyond the GT4 car, but released from competition restrictions. And they have been proving its reliability in a number of 12 and 24-hour races in the 24-hour series. It won the GTX class of the Dubai 24 Hours earlier this year, as we mentioned. Obviously, the relationship between Ginetta and the Ultimate Cup series has been growing because the GT4 Evo made its global race debut with the Ultimate Cup back in 2023, and it won on debut in the Magny Cours 4-hour race. So this is a battle for third in Porsche Cup. This is Seb Lejeune and Eric Debard going toe-to-toe. Cesar van der Westen there just in front of them. And then comes that battle for third position. See Frederic Lacour is closing in on Jeremy Fallaghan as well for fourth position overall. Spreading out quite a bit though between the various classes. The Ferraris and the Porsches not necessarily designed to race together. That's why they run in separate classes. But the different performance characteristics of the cars, with the Ferrari's monstrous V8 in it, giving it some 140 horsepower more than the Porsche. But the Porsche is significantly faster in the corners, so you can actually get some very interesting racing between those two types of cars. Although the Super Trofeo seems to trump the pair of them at the moment. Alexis Bertek quite comfortably ahead of the chasing Ferrari Challenge cars. Francesco Etzori now nearly 29 seconds clear out at the front of the field. The sole remaining GT3 car left in this race. Olivier Morahan deciding not to take part in these final two races of the weekend. Still Seb Lejeune and Eric Debard squabbling over 7th and 8th overall, but third in the Porsche Cup category. And then this is Frederic Lacour chasing Jeremy Fallaghan for fourth position. And through the final corner there. Jeremy Fallaghan had a great battle with Carl van der Westen earlier on. 415 machine there does have a 5-second penalty, remember, that it has to serve. Although currently he would still hang on to the Porsche Cup lead. There's also, don't forget that the Van der Westen brothers, as silver class drivers, they will have to take success penalties later in the race. It's a bit of a moving scale with the additional penalties. Now that is the is that the 353 car that's gone off, and oh well, the Porsche car's following through there in very close formation, but that looks to be the 353 car of Lorenzo Monteiro. Lorenzo Monteiro from third position overall, and we have a safety car out because that car is stuck in the gravel trap. So 11 minutes left on the clock and the safety car has been deployed. Lorenzo Monteiro is out of this one by the looks of it. And yeah, the safety car boards are shown. And here we can see it again. So he's already gone off at this point. There's something wobbling there on the left rear corner. So I wonder if there's been contact that's knocked that corner askew, or maybe he's picked up a puncture. May find out later on. But definitely looked like something was wrong with that back left corner on that car. So safety car conditions then, with 10 minutes to go, and there's a Monteiro giving GT racing a go, having raced in Super 7s for the last 3 years, a race winner in Super 7s and the Caterham series here in Portugal. 20-year-old Portuguese driver, but going no further in this race, sadly. And, for SR&R, they've lost another car. We were supposed to have 18 cars taking part in this race, but we have lost a few of them for various reasons. The first one was the CMR Ginetta, the GT4 car of Adrian Stern. That car lost its brakes going into turn 1 during Monday testing and ended up withdrawing the car. Then the other SR&R Ferrari challenge of Francesco Corasin, the 333 car, and that was smoking during Thursday testing, and that car ended up withdrawing as well. And then of course we have Olivier Morahan as well, who's decided not to take part today. And then Aramis was missing from the races 1 and 3 as well. And Solanam Rouge, who we noticed didn't even get started in this race, has been several issues aboard that number 95 Vortex 1.0 car, but should be driving the 2.0 a little bit later on for the endurance race. So maybe putting more of her focus on that. That was the car that was fastest in Q1, but had the times disallowed for, we believe, too many track limits infringements. So far this weekend we have had 3 different overall race winners, but looks like that is going to change. Of course, Francesco Azzori, his 45-second advantage has been eradicated, and it's because of one of his teammates, no less, as well. We'll put Alexis Bertet right on the back of him. We saw the power of that Lamborghini down the straight, and so there is an opportunity here for Bertet to try and jump at Azzori on the restart, but of course we know how much faster that 488 GT3 car is anyway. So we see the rescue operation down there for that 353 machine. Wonderful opportunity to thank the marshals for their efforts. We cannot go racing without the Orange Army giving up their time and helping us go racing. That's a timely shot, isn't it? The leading team at the moment, SR&R, relatively young team, who's established in 2017 by Manfredo Revato and Paolo Roberti in Verona, lifelong friends. The Revato family that's been involved in motor racing since time immemorial, really. But Manfredi, the only person to be a team principal in Formula 1, in LMP1 and in DTM as well. He was team principal at Caterham, the Formula 1 team, and of course ran the Bicoles team in LMP1. He's gone by as well. Team initially running touring cars, Citroen and Abarth touring cars specifically for the first couple of years of its life, before switching over to GTs in the Italian Super Cup. Since then they have gone on to win championships in Italian GT for the last 3 years. few other teams that will be familiar with for the other categories that are racing here this weekend with the Ultimate Cup Series. The CMR in second position. We'll also see them out in the European Endurance Prototype Cup running Ligiers. Of course, Super Trofeu Europe being one of their other programs, but also the French GT Championship in the GT4 category. So 5 minutes to go then, and just see if the safety car lights will be. Oh, well, they were. I don't think they will be because the work's still going on at turn 1. So it is Francesco Azzori who leads in the SR&R number 3 Ferrari 488 GT3. Second is and there's a few cars between the top two actually, but it's the black, yellow, and red Lamborghini there. The number 30 CMR Super Trofeo of Alexis Bertet, also the UCS2 class leader. Then third position overall is the UCS3 class leader, the number 91 Racing Spirit of Le Mans, Frédéric Lacour, inheriting the lead after the demise of Lorenzo Monsiero. Then the Porsche Cup lead, Jeremy Falligand in the 415 Seb Lejeune Racing Porsche Cup car. That car has a 5-second time penalty for a start infringement, but Cesar van der Westen will also take a penalty for being a silver class driver anyway, and he's right behind him on track as well in 5th position overall. Then Alfredo Hernandez up to 6th position after recovering from what looked like a spin at turn 5 on the first lap from the lead in the 77 BDR competition Grupo Prom Super Trofeo car. Then Seb Lejeune in the 908 Porsche Cup car, with Lionel Rigaud in the 89 GP Racing Team Porsche, and then Eric Debard in the 81 Debard Automobiles by Racetivity Porsche. And the last of our UCS2 cars inside the top 10, which is Eric Muez in the CMR Ginetta GTX. Behind them comes the GT4 battle, which is Francois Denis in the speed car Ginetta GT4, closely followed by Pierre Aru in the Herrera Racing Audi. 2-1 so far in the favour of Pierre Aru. Safety car is coming in this lap, and then we can see the SR&R Ferrari challenge car now behind the barriers on the back of that low loader, so we will go racing once again. As the last category is UCS Light, being led by Marine Pidu in the speed car midjet. Ahead of Andre Sefiratos in the 57 drive-in Porsche Cayman GT4 car, the first generation car, and that was initially going to race in USC4 but reclassified to UCS Light. Because it is an older version of that car, I think by 2 generations. So Francesco Azzori will be quite grateful for those few cars between himself and his nearest on-track rival, Alexis Bertet, because we know the power of that Lamborghini that did propel Alfredo Hernandez into the lead earlier on. As we see, the safety car lights are off, and Francesco Azzori is letting the safety car go before he puts his foot down. And for the last minute and a bit of this race, now this is going to be very tight in terms of whether we actually get 1 or 2 laps in left. We should now be on the penultimate lap. Let's see. But Azzori leads quite comfortably. Bertet trying to clear the traffic, and Jeremy Falligand making his way through into 3rd position, but Frédéric Lacour trying to take that place immediately back again, side by side between the Ferrari and the Porsche going into turn number 3. And rising back up the hill once again. There we can rejoin the battle. It's Lacour who's come out on top, and Cesar van der Westen trying to take advantage on the inside there of Jeremy Falligand to take the lead in the Porsche Cup category. Alfredo Hernandez trying to take back overall position as well. Almost has his nose chopped off there by Cesar van der Westen. Such is the momentum difference between the Super Trofeo Lamborghini and the Porsche Cup car. But, the lead in Porsche Cup very much up for grabs here. It was Carl van der Westen in that blue and white 2B Autosport car that had to deal with the silver and blue Jeremy Falligand in his mirrors all race long. This time it's role reversal with Falligand defending from the number 14 machine, but this time César van der Westen at the wheel. Don't forget both cars with penalties to take for different reasons. As Frédéric Lacour is right on the back of Alexis Bertet here, but Azzurri comes across the line and starts the final lap of the race. And already has pulled out a nearly 10-second advantage over the Lamborghini as Hernandez gets on the inside of César van der Westen into turn number 1. That breaks up the Porsche Cup lead battle as the Mexican moves up into 5th place. And van der Westen trying to get back up the inside on the Lamborghini here and tags him, and round goes Hernandez. That's the second time this race he's been facing the wrong way. This time at turn number 3. And César van der Westen was very eager to try and maintain that place and keep on the back of his class rival, but now that has put quite a bit of distance between them. The 3 class leaders line astern here: Bertet, Lacour, Falligand. Lamborghini, Porsche, Ferrari line astern. Heading over the crest and the exit of turn 8, and the left-hander of the Craig Jones kink for the final time. We've had 3 different winners overall so far this weekend in the 3 races, but it does look like that is about to change at the hands of Francesco Azzurri. Checkered flag is now out. It will be Azzurri who wins. And he has crossed the line, and it is a second victory of the weekend for Francesco Azzurri and SR&R. Second place will be Alexis Bertet in the number 30 CMR Lamborghini Super Trofeo. After victory in race 3 yesterday, but a podium finish in every race so far this weekend. And the UCS2 lead, of course, there as well. And the UCS3 going to Frédéric Lacour in the number 91 Racing Spirit of Le Mans Ferrari 488 Challenge. So making up for the disappointment of not finishing the race earlier on today. And then the Porsche Cup battle does update eventually, and it has been given to César van der Westen in the 2B Autosport Porsche, ahead of Jeremy Falligand, who had that 5-second penalty for start infringement. And Lionel Rigaud completing the podium in class for GP Racing team. Eric Depard and Seb Lejoux rounding out that category, with Eric Muez second of the UCS2 runners in 9th overall in the GTX Ginetta, completing the top 10, Francois Denis. And so it is 2 apiece between Francois Denis and Pierre Aru in UCS4 for GT4 competition. That's been a real tit-for-tat battle all weekend. Alfredo Hernandez 12th across the line in the end after that contact with César van der Westen. And then in UCS Light, Andre Tafiratos making a late move on Marine Pidou to take 13th overall and the lead in class. So Francesco Azzurri makes his way back into pit lane. His advantage 17.3 seconds, which oh dear. What has happened to Marine Pidou's car there? That is quite extraordinary. Never Well, it looked like the front wheels were up in the air. Love to get another look at that. It's very bizarre. Very bizarre indeed. In fact, it does show that Marine Purdue, I don't think, actually quite made it to the line. So maybe she had to pull into the pits there on just before that final lap. Should be a real shame. But Azzurri out of the car, his second race of the weekend and his second win. Then we can hopefully hear from Francesco in a little bit. He celebrates with SR and out. Of course, has to go and congratulate Alexis Bertet there as well on the left-hand side, and Frederic Lacour as well. Very sporting is Francesco, but we can hear from him now.
Just got to wait till we get told we can go.
Of course.
Francesco, congratulations. A win here. You must be very happy. It's a tricky circuit and it's been warm today. How are you feeling?
Feeling was very good, and the track it's wonderful. It's my first time here, and the car must be perfect today. Yesterday was a little bit better than today, but I think it's too much hot today, and I'm not happy for my my
Perfect timing as he goes by.
Yes, of course. I'm not happy for my teammate, but so I'm super happy for this weekend, and I think this my new favorite track.
New favourite track, we love to hear it. It's such a beautiful track, isn't it? It's also your second win of the weekend. It's been a really positive weekend for you, hasn't it?
Yes, of course, to pole position and to win, it's very, very good. So for the championship, we can't ask other. So see other driver in Hockenheim.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
We're going to run off and see if we can find Alexis. Alexis, we've just, sorry to shout across to you. You've got to shout to drivers, otherwise they run off. English? Can we speak English? Well, a little in English. Happy with that?
Yes, it was a race more difficult than this morning, but all is right.
What do you think of the track? A very tricky track, but fun.
Very impressive and very fantastic, with a lot of speed. Yes.
Lots of hills. Were you under a lot of pressure?
Yes, a little. Yes. Yes.
We'll let you go. Thank you so much. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Amazing. Some incredible racing here. I'm going to see if I can find anyone else that's kicking around, but drivers have a wonderful habit of disappearing on us. So make sure you stay with us on this live feed right here for the Ultimate Cup weekend. We're having a wonderful time in Portimão.
Peu importe qui tu es, peu importe d'où tu viens, nous passons tous par les mêmes étapes. Décision. Travail. Concentration. Objectif. Peu importe ce qui se passe, reste concentré. Dans la difficulté, ne lâche rien. Crois en toi et crois en ce que tu peux accomplir. Ne te décourage pas. Il y a toujours moyen de réussir. Il y a toujours une solution. Tu peux le faire. Tu peux atteindre ta cible. Il n'y a pas de raccourci. Juste la volonté, le travail et un peu d'aide. 9 mm. Atteins ta cible.
Être un bon traiteur, c'est être intransigeant sur la qualité. On ne fait du bon qu'avec le meilleur. C'est être impitoyable sur les recettes. Quand c'est bon, il n'y a rien à ajouter, rien à enlever. C'est être irréprochable sur le goût. Il faut prendre du plaisir pour en donner. Voilà, pour être un bon traiteur, il faut être intraitable.
Parfaitement intraitable.